Is it even possible to feel grounded, peaceful, and authentic at Thanksgiving dinner? Or do you already feel that emotional weight creeping in just thinking about being around people who might not get you, might train you, or trigger an old version of you? Welcome back to Transformation Tuesday. I'm Amanda Beth, your guide to all things healing and aligned. And today's episode is Permission to be real, thriving through family dynamics. And my friend Andy Nam, functional nutritionist and longevity coach, is joining us. Welcome, Andy.
Hi, Amanda. I,
How
I,
you
I
doing?
think today is a perfect topic coming into Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, very much so. So just the thought of sitting at a table and Thanksgiving dinner, for some reason, we feel compelled to bring people into our lives that aren't normally there. And sometimes it just makes your stomach do those flip-flops. You're not alone. They have this holidays just have a way of activating old wounds, outdated roles, and a whole lot of energetic noise. So this year, I know it's Tuesday, Thanksgiving, traditional Thanksgiving. It's just a couple of days away here in the States. And I want you to know you have a choice. You have permission to be real, stop performing, and stop overgiving and staying connected to your authentic self, even when it feels hard. So, we're going to talk today about protecting your energy, staying grounded, and how to walk into family gatherings with clarity, confidence, and ease. Plus, we'll go through some theta healing later and help you shift some of that and get ready for it. Because you think of all the things you go through getting ready for Thanksgiving, the travel, your disruptive routines, eating weird foods, and being around people that you love but you maybe don't resonate with anymore. And those unspoken expectation, the family roles, the pressure to perform and to fit in, what you always did as a kid. The tradition, my daughter learned how to make deviled eggs. And so she was proud to bring deviled eggs to every family function until she was in her late teens. And she's like, I'm not bringing deviled eggs. So now I get to bring the deviled eggs. And so this week I'll be um, bringing those deviled eggs. But sometimes you just, I don't know. I know, Andy, this tradition is not necessarily one of your native traditions. So what do you think about this whole extra holiday in there? I know most of your life you were in Canada and they have Thanksgiving. They had it what, a month ago?
Yeah, Canada had Thanksgiving in October, and to be honest, it wasn't that big of a thing in Vancouver in Canada. Like when I was in Canada for 30 years, and I don't think I ever celebrated a Thanksgiving dinner with family or friends. It was just another holiday on the calendar, but nothing worth celebrating. It wasn't until I moved down to California that we did celebration with friends and family. But yeah, I remember it as the Black Friday weekend. That's when you go for sales, right?
Well, and I think that commercialism has really, really saturated so much of this holiday and the expectations that are there. I know my mom as a kid talks about going to school, and everyone at school was talking about what you're going to do and everything. And my mom said, "Well, we're not having Thanksgiving." And in Southeast Iowa, the community just they really thought, "Oh, that poor family, a family of five and the hard times in the 50s." And so the school personnel, teachers, staff, whatever, they all got together and they brought a box of Thanksgiving fixings and trimmings, the turkey, the bird, the whole thing to my grandmother. And my grandma's
Wow.
no, my grandma's like, get that damn bird out of here. My grandma is from England. Uh, so she was not celebrating Thanksgiving. So, it's just kind of like changing those expectations. And just because the neighbors are putting out a big spread doesn't mean you have to. And so, breaking those cycles of people pleasing, that performance, the self abandonment, especially around your family. I know family tends to our family of origin, who it
Mhm.
is you call family. Now, for us this year, last year we served 23 people for Thanksgiving at our house.
23? Oh my God.
23, and that was just Chris's side of the family. We just had Thanksgiving with them. Because not everybody can do everything, and as our kids grow and they get older, and I know when I moved away for college, one of my best Thanksgivings, because I lived 12 hours away from home, we were 24 hours away from Jeff's family, and so we went to Dances with Wolves. That was our Thanksgiving. So find something that makes a tradition for you. Don't feel that you're left out. My family, we always had anybody over that didn't have family came to our
Mhm.
house.
Yes.
So we had the ambulance service, and there were a lot of people that didn't have family around, and so they always came to our house. And so I think that's a wonderful sense of family, of including those who are around you, not necessarily by blood, but that's also a choice you get to make as an adult. Where do you go and who do you call as family? So this last weekend, we did Friendsgiving.
Mhm.
And so we invited friends, and we had it earlier in the day so that, we had opportunity to play board games, but everyone's schedules are just so busy. But for me, that was a break. It was a break in the tradition. I didn't have to do the same things that I always did. We could have whatever we wanted for food. We didn't have to have the traditional food and everything. And for me, doing it a week ahead of time, the food, the housekeeping is done. And so I get to look at this week as being a bit more relaxing. Now, of course, I'll help my mom with Thanksgiving this weekend, but you know, as we change those obligations and we get away from it, and really emphasizing that it's not about perfection, but it's about presence.
Mhm.
And I think that that was the best part of the friends who came together. Not everyone knew everyone. We were bringing friends together from different circles. So nobody had any expectations. It was so awesome. You know, everyone was able to just show up and to be. And that's what I would like everybody to do, that in their family situation too. Um,
Correct.
and that's where we bring in those boundaries, and if you've moved away from your family of origin and you're going back to them, I want you to think about the things that you've done that are progress.
Mhm.
Even if you're the only one that sees it. It's progress, and it's in real time, and it's the things that you do for you. Just because you go back to your family of origin does not mean that you have to stop being who you've become, you
That's so
know?
true.
I remember after I did a lot of my healing, and I went back to my father's side of the family for a holiday, and being the healed me, or as healed as I was at the time, because healing is just it's ongoing. You continue
Mhm.
to grow and to evolve and to change. But it was so awesome taking my girls back to my father's side of the family. And the first time ever, I didn't have to play mama bear.
Mhm.
I wasn't protecting my kid. I knew my story, and I didn't have to, I don't know, cower is not the right word, but I didn't have to subscribe to their values and their beliefs and their, I mean, I adore my family, and we have a lot of really good memories. There were things that happened in my individual family unit that that were hurtful and traumatic. And
Mhm.
having done the healing beyond that, I no longer had to show up as that traumatized child. I could be a healthy adult, and it was so incredibly freeing, and I would hope that no one else has that story, but unfortunately, I know a lot of people have that
Yes.
story. And so this is what made me really think about this week's episode, and that we want to talk about that soul work,
Mhm.
and how you do that work, and then how you're able to continue to show up in your older environments and stay true to yourself.
That's so true because I think, since we moved to Texas, we used to have like huge Thanksgiving gatherings with family or friends. And like you said, we always invited all the ones that didn't have family, like they're either in Asia, Europe, whatever, right? And then we didn't want them being alone, and we just hey, just we basically gather all the misfits and everyone just grab whatever they, there was no theme. It was just like just bring something fun to eat, just to hang out, and it ends
Yeah.
up being a lot of work for me, Minna, because we always try to over deliver because we knew people was going to bring cookies and chips, not meals, right? If you wanted to have a true Thanksgiving meal, right? So the expectations was to deliver a fun experience, but like you said, it can totally change on your situation because in the last 4 years since we moved to Texas, we made a lot of new friends, but the friends are a little bit more mature. They have families, so they got their own Thanksgiving. So in the last 4 years, like me and Minna's, like we've been just hanging out doing date nights for Thanksgiving too. It's just a nice place to eat. So the expectations is you want to be around the people that I think you enjoy being, and if it's people that you only see once or twice a year, it's okay. Like I said, but I think it's important to be yourself. You don't have to be that frightened little child again, going back home and say, "Oh, I'm not that person anymore." And sometimes it's sort of cool letting the people know, seeing how you've changed over the years too,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah. And having that self-confidence of like, no, no, I am an adult. I'm grown, as some of my friends would say, I'm a grown ass adult. I don't have to do this anymore. That tick, tick, do,
Exactly.
and but show up and be you and take those breaks. You can feel vulnerable
Hmm.
without being vulnerable. You're going to be authentic. You're not loud and confrontational, but it's just choosing being at peace over being at performance. And when I
Yes.
say performance, I mean performing the old role that everyone else expected of you.
Hmm.
Turn the tables, be you. Rest in knowing that you're who you are and you don't have to put on that face anymore. So,
Agreed. I love that.
yeah, so my tips are make sure that you get grounded first.
Hmm.
Spend 5 minutes of breath work, do some walking, be in silence, whatever you have to do, give yourself that time to get calm, to put away those old memories because we're not, what you resist persists. If you're
Hmm.
afraid this is going to happen, it's going to.
Yes.
Visualize everything, put yourself in, I don't wanna say in character because I want you to stay in your character, to be
Hmm.
who you are. I want you to just focus on who you are and what you want to convey, and if that's, do some breath work, some walking, but really get yourself grounded before you
Hmm.
step into that environment. Visualize. Number 2, visualize your energetic field. Sometimes if you can imagine placing yourself in a bubble.
Hmm.
This can be like a rose gold bubble, a white golden bubble of light. Just put yourself in that bubble. A lot of times I talk with people about bringing it up from your feet. So start at the ground and bring it up. Do you remember those bubbles? They were so horribly stinky. It was a tube of stuff you put on the end of a straw and you blew it up.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and they never lasted very long, but they lasted long enough that if you can envision putting yourself inside that bubble, I mean,
Hmm.
those were usually swirly colors, now
Correct.
they dip stuff and create the same thing that we were striving for. But just in and just really when you're envisioning this bubble, I want you to put the rule on the bubble that nothing comes into your bubble that isn't love.
I love that.
So it's not just a bubble to protect you, it's
Hmm.
a bubble to only allow in love. And
Correct.
really, really visualize this as your shield. Um, the third thing you can do is come up with phrases that are going to anchor you. So when you are looking around the room and you're seeing all the things and the things that maybe are giving you that flip-flop in your tummy, and just some of the phrases, let me give you some suggestions here. This is their energy. It's not mine.
Hmm.
So really identifying what's yours and what's not. And as empaths, this is a big thing that we carry with us. So really ground in,
Hmm.
pull in your container, and be as solid as you can. And then you can say, I can be kind and still have boundaries.
Hmm.
Just because it's going on doesn't mean you have to deal into that hand anymore. You can fold. You can just watch. You do not have to actively participate. So telling yourself, I can be kind and still have boundaries. And then telling yourself, I get to choose who I become in this moment.
Hmm.
And those of us who've pulled away and done any healing at all, you really need to think of that. Healing is not easy. It's a lot of work. And to stand in the power of who you have worked to become and not falling back into that old path, because that old path is very tempting.
Yes.
So, number 4, reclaim the power of no. You don't have to hug, you don't have to engage, and you certainly do not have to explain or defend anything.
Hmm.
A simple no is enough. No, no, thank you. Everybody say it with me. No, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
No,
I
thank
love
you. I'm done. You don't owe anyone an explanation.
it. Hmm.
And if those are the people who are really, you say, I'm going to take a walk. And that's where number 5, keep your one joy touch point, as they call it. Keep a playlist. Take your own favorite tea and brew up a cup of tea. Say, oh, I'm going to go make some tea. And if you've brought your own loose leaves and you have that whole process to go through, it's going to take longer than 5 minutes. You know, what do you need to have that brings you that comfort and that you are grounded? Is it a crystal in your pocket? Do you have a favorite stone, a favorite trinket, a talisman, if you will, that you can put in your pocket that empowers you, that you can just touch it and it's like, okay, I'm in my safety zone. This is where I'm at. Remind yourself of the bubble that you have. You can
Hmm.
go journal. Essential oils. Do you have essential oils with you? Do you have some Bach essences that you can bring along as well? There's also homeopathic remedies that you can take along and take if that anxiety really starts
Hmm.
to build with you. So have your backup plan as to what you can do for that. Because these aren't just coping tools, they're energetic declarations that say, I'm choosing to be me.
Hmm.
So just always have that plan of, oh, my allergies are acting up. It must be something in the air. Go outside, get some fresh air.
Correct.
You know, the cold weather isn't due until after Thanksgiving here. So, okay, so this brings us up to some theta beliefs. Um, and as I was coming up with these when I was putting this together, some of these even I needed to clear. So we're going to clear that and put this in. So yes, to do theta work, in order to receive the benefit of these, when I offer the clearing, I need you to say yes out loud. Put yes in the comments. If you're catching us on replay, same thing. Say it out loud. Pop in the comments, hashtag replay yes, to accept the work. It's energetic work and it stays here for you. If we lump a whole bunch of things together and you only want a couple of them, say yes to all of them. Only the ones that you need are gonna hit and fill in for you. Okay. So let's download the belief that it's safe for me to be myself, even around family. I can be kind and still have boundaries. I'm not responsible for managing others' emotions. This is a big one. This is a big one. Somebody else is having a bad day. It's their bad day to have. It's not yours. You can comfort them, but you cannot take on their emotions.
Hmm.
They're theirs. Okay. Taking on their emotions is just gonna give you a bad day too. They've got to work through them. That's the stickler on emotions, whoever's emotions they are, until they work through them, they do not get that healing or that release. Another belief here is I can say no without guilt. So we're going to remove that obligation to have the guilt and the shame when you say no. Say no and mean no. And you also give yourself permission to choose what's right for you. Just because everyone else in the group is doing it doesn't mean you're going to. Our moms would say, what, if so and so jumped off a bridge, would you? Okay, have that permission to choose what's right for you. So If you like those beliefs and those energetics and the things that come with that, as well as let's provide forgiveness to ourselves for falling into those old patterns. Let's have the discernment to recognize those old patterns so that we don't get sucked back into them, and know what it feels like to stay in our authentic self, even when it's not popular with everyone around us. If you'd like those,
So
just say
true.
yes.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay, there's the yawn. Oh goodness. That is big work. That's a lot of work to do. So just remember, you're not here to prove, to perform, or to people please. You're here to be here. So, really enjoy the time with your family. If you have a favorite aunt, a favorite brother, sister, niece, or nephew, go spend time with them.
Hmm.
The rest of the people will catch up with you if they need to. So, what does it mean for you to come home to yourself this week? Think about that. When we're all talking about going home for the holidays, what does it mean? So, if you think you know somebody who may benefit from this episode, please feel free to share it. Share, 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 share. It will be up on YouTube later today. Um, and just remember, you don't have to abandon yourself to keep the peace. You don't have to over explain or overextend yourself. You get to show up as you,
Hmm.
fully, freely, and unapologetically. So if something spoke to you, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. We'll be back next Tuesday. I also want to talk about a couple other things that are coming up tonight on the Chronic Health Collective. I'm hosting and I'm pulling back the curtain with two other powerhouse women. Christy Boyd Johnson, she's a developmental editor who helps authors find the real story behind the hidden lines. And Teresa Velarde, she is the heart behind Authentic Endeavors Publishing and the Daily Gift book series, including today's release of A Daily Gift of Friendship. So we're going to be talking about writing authentically. I'm going to talk a lot about my new upcoming book, Stepping into Power, give you kind of some behind the scenes things with how we write, um, talking about editing without ego, publishing with purpose, and how you can shift your own story and how you can submit to the next daily book of kindness. So I'm calling it Ink, Intuition, and Integrity. So it's behind the scenes stuff. And then in a couple of weeks, on December 12th, I'm offering a holiday stress workshop in Mount Pleasant with tips and group healing for those who want to attend. So there is our Facebook link. You can learn more about it, catch up. And if you just want to go and grab your ticket, if you're in the area locally, because it isn't in person, you can get
Hmm.
that at amandabethhealing.com/sanity. So anything else, Andy? Did I miss anything?
No, I think that is perfect because channeling yourself to get in that protective bubble, not falling into the stress of, like I said, being that little boy or little girl that you were before. And for me, like I'm the youngest in the family, so they're always going to see me as the youngest, even though technically I'm a senior already. I'm 55. I'm not, I'm not a baby no more. Right. So I think, like you said, it's so important to bring your authentic self. Right. And you don't have to agree with everything they're talking about, but definitely let your thoughts be known where, that you matured, that you're doing exciting things. And regardless if they like it or not, it's all right. At least they know what the hell you're doing. I think that's
Yeah,
very important.
yeah, it is. And you're not showing up to show off.
Hmm.
You're just being you. And if
Exactly.
you know that your values don't sit with everybody, don't bring them up.
That's all right.
Don't bring
Exactly.
them up. You know, just sit in the corner and enjoy. And if you spend more time sitting in the corner and watching, then you're also seeing the amount of healing you have
Hmm.
accomplished, and you need
Exactly.
to celebrate that. That is huge to
I
be able to
love it.
sit back and say, "Ah, I remember when I used to think that way," or "I
Good.
remember when this used to bother me, and
Mhm,
now, once you heal it, it
mhm.
doesn't get under your skin, and it's really amazing." So
I love it.
all right. Well, we will catch up with me tonight, 7 o'clock Central for Chronic Health Collective.
Mhm.
And we'll be back next Tuesday for Transformation Tuesday here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and catch the recordings on YouTube.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks, Andy.